Hello, and welcome to Nostalgia Marcana. I'm your host, Doug Lief. Each episode of this podcast, we'll look back on the movies, TV, games, people, and phenomena that we still love talking about all these years later, and ask ourselves why these bits of pop culture still enchant us today. This week, we'll be revisiting...
How fast are they? Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh. Say again. We have a T-Rex.
Oh.
Put your head between your knees.
Dr. Grant. My dear Dr. Sattler. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Hold on to your butts, because this is a podcast 65 million years in the making. We are talking about Jurassic Park, and if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, today is the 30th anniversary of this seminal movie, a crown jewel in a long career of crown jewels for Steven Spielberg. I'm very excited to be revisiting one of the greatest movies of all time with two of the greatest people I know. So first, to introduce her to the podcast yet again, she is the best producer that I could ask for, my wife, Ami Lief.
Hi, everybody.
Woo woo. And of course, he is one of our regular contributors and one of the bestest people I know as well. But welcome back to the podcast, Rich Baker.
Oh, shucks. Thanks, Doug.
So this came up on an episode a few weeks ago, and someone said, like, oh, we should do Jurassic Park. And it's like, yes, of course we should do Jurassic Park. It's fantastic. So,
yeah.
Rich, I'll start with you if you want to talk about your nostalgic memories of Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Well, as I've mentioned before and others, I got to see movies in the theater before a lot of kids my age were able to, because I had the older brother who just would take me. And so I definitely saw Jurassic Park in the theater. I would have been, 12 at the time. And I just remember just like, because I was a kid in the 80s. So of course I was obsessed with dinosaurs like everyone. Like it was the coloring books and, the stuffed animals, and there were cartoons about dinosaurs. And when this came out, it was just like, and not only was it like a cool movie about dinosaurs, but it was like really good movie. Like, as you said, one of the best of all time. And I just remember just like mouth agape, just 12-year-old, like, whoa.
And how about you?
So I very vividly remember my experience. I remember my parents taking me to go see this and me having a very negative reaction. Like, I don't want to go see that movie. I probably wanted to go see some other teen kids movie. I was like, I do not want to go see this movie. And then from the second the movie started, I was at the edge of my seat, like mouth open, like you said, Rich. It just stunned. And I had such an obsession with this movie afterwards. I loved every second of it. I remember my parents bought me how this movie was made from Costco or Sam's Club or one of those, and reading it obsessively. Don't ask me any facts. I don't remember any of the details. But I just remember being so obsessed with this movie, and I've continued to be obsessed with this movie since.
This is one of the rare movies that I remember seeing in the theater twice. We did not do that too often back in the early 90s. I think I saw Aladdin twice. Like a Disney movie might get a second viewing. But it was rare to go see something like this twice, but you just you had to. And I remember seeing it, I think I saw it with my mom, which is surprising because my dad's more of the sci-fi person in the family. But I just remember sort of the moments after we got out of the theater and kind of walking to the car and just sort of my mom and I just looking at each other because we couldn't believe what we had just seen, because I was shocked when we watched it again in preparation. Like, the special effects hold up so well. And it's just this feeling of I just saw real dinosaurs. They're real. I don't know how they put real dinosaurs on screen, but they're real. And it's still the closest thing. I mean, yes, I guess the special effects have improved for all of the sequels to this movie. But there's something about, there's that Spielberg magic that brings them to life. And you just believe that this is really happening with real dinosaurs.
Yeah. I hate to be that, the typical musician who's like, albums are better than digital, but like I do believe practical effects are better than digital effects in movies. I really do. Like I miss like the puppeteering, the kind of the animatronics, all that stuff, you know, that you just don't see anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this movie in a way was the beginning of the death knell to some degree for practical effects, but there's still a place for them, of course, but this really showed off what CGI can do. And there was CG in movies before this, but there were things like Tron or The Last Starfighter where they were a novelty and they were, you know, it was nothing close to approaching verisimilitude. But this was like into the stratosphere in terms of like, this is what CGI can do. And shockingly, there's only about 15 minutes of CGI in the movie. The rest of it is practical stuff, which is probably why it still feels so tactile.
And a little bit of CGI is, you know, I believe I know the scene that it is. It's just more, it's not up in your face, you know. It's almost more like from far away. And all this stuff, like every time you meet a dinosaur, you know, the Brachiosaurus, the T-Rex, the Velociraptor, any of them, the Triceratops, they as you said, they feel like these real creatures.
Yep, that you can see like the texture. Like it's like just the amount of detail that they put into all of these animals is just so real and like tactile, like you said.
And even the trick to the CG stuff is that it's all really sort of tastefully done. It tends to be done when the dinosaurs are farther away, when they're moving quickly, so they're kind of blurry. You don't see all of the seams in there. And because Spielberg is just such an expert at knowing exactly when and how to deploy that technology, it feels seamless. And again, it's not subtractive, it's additive in a way that usually CG tends to just sort of overpower everything. And I just remember thinking this is the most incredible movie going experience I've ever had.
Sure, absolutely.
Did you any of you read the book?
I did not.
I did in middle school. Yeah, I don't remember anything about it.
I read The Lost World as well. But one thing I just remember about the book was like there were some cool scenes in the book that obviously were cut for time and for pacing, and probably never even filmed, but ended up in the sequels here and there. Mm-hmm. So if you remember in Jurassic Park 3, there's this whole sequence where they wind up in like this pterodactyl aviary, and that's all lifted straight out of the original Jurassic Park book.
And that is the only good scene in any of the Jurassic Park movies other than the first one, in my humble opinion.
There you go. Yeah, we don't need to talk about the other 5, because I think as far as I'm concerned, you only need this one.
Yep.
And it's a miracle that it got made. I know that like Spielberg was like, he went for it before the book was even finished. He was like, I want to, he was throwing his hat in the ring, but Tim Burton threw his hat in the ring. I think Joe Dante did, Richard Donner, like a bunch of people in studios were going for it. And the deal that was struck was, Steven, you're going to make Jurassic Park, but the bone will throw you. We want you to make it, but you get to make Schindler's List. So you get the two, like the biggest film of all time in 1993 and the Best Picture winner for 1993 because of this.
Wow. What a heck of a career.
Yeah. And 2 great ones for John Williams as well. He did both of those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if this movie would be the same without that score.
No, it's so good. I mean, this is, we're recording this out of order, but this is the 3rd John Williams movie in a row that we've recorded. We did Superman, and then we just did Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And so now we're recording this one. It'll be released later. And it's just like, going back to these scores, it's like, Jesus Christ, he's good.
Yeah.
You
know, what's interesting, I was thinking about this today, Jurassic Park really is a horror movie, you know, like it fits a horror movie, but like I never think about it like a horror movie, and I think it's because of this very joyful, melodic, major scale John Williams, you know, like that's what I think when I think Jurassic Park, even though it's filled with, you know, death and scary.
Yeah, I agree. And this also came up on the Last Crusade podcast, which is that Spielberg is really a master of like kind of riding the gear shift in terms of tone, where he can give you like, okay, we're doing horror now. Hey, we're doing a lighthearted comedy. Now we're doing, you know, whimsical adventure. And he can just seamlessly blend all of those together in a way that just makes this movie and still make this movie accessible to kind of children of all ages. it's again another masterwork in his ability to do that.
Yeah.
Do you have you're looking at me like, okay.
No, we're good.
Okay. But I think as far as you mentioned, like horror, like this is very much like a sequel to Jaws, like unofficially.
Yeah. Yeah. Opens up with a scene with, like an attack, but we don't see the creature, exactly like Jaws. We've got a reluctant hero going to a place he doesn't want to go to. I mean, I don't feel like he was trying to hide it.
No, he definitely uses all of like the tricks he learned on Jaws. And it's funny that like Jaws sort of created the idea of a summer blockbuster. And then this one is like, it's like bump set spike. Here's the biggest summer blockbuster probably of all time, even discounting things like, later stuff like the Avengers and all that. Like this is sort of the one that cements that idea.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about the music for a bit. Is that something that like ever resonated with you? Like I remember I bought the soundtrack for this.
Oh, I remember playing it on the piano, like trying to figure out the notes. I'm not a piano player, but I could kind of tinker around a little bit. And yeah, I remember trying to figure it out and singing it and just, it sticks with you.
Yeah. There's two great pieces. You said there's kind of two themes. You've got the like slower, grander, no, when we see the brachiosaur for the first time, that's like the majesty of dinosaurs. And then you've got the more adventurous, like bum, ba, bum, ba, ba, da, da, ba, dum, bum, bum. And both of those kind of combine, like to me, like that just is, welcome to Jurassic Park, those two pieces of music.
Yeah.
Yep. With the opening scene when the helicopter's flying into the island and that music soars.
Yeah, you need that because like it's one of those things like there's a lot of scenes in movies you realize as you watch them like, oh, this is basically the scene of a car parking, right? In this case, it's a helicopter landing and you want to make it exciting. So it's like the most action possible shot of this helicopter going through this canyon and, with that music behind it. It's like, we all know what's coming. We saw it's on the poster, dinosaurs are about to be seen. And yet like that reveal. But before we even get to that, I think we should talk about the beginning of the movie, which is in pure horror mode. That the scene of the raptor, I guess, transport gone wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you think the first time you saw that? Because that's a pretty scary way to open the movie.
I don't remember what I thought then, but I mean, just having this, wait, what? like reaction. Like, what are they doing? And why are they doing it like that? Haven't they figured out a better way to transport this thing?
Tranquilize them first, for example. Yeah.
A locking mechanism so that it doesn't come unhinged. I mean, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Well, yeah. You're touching on something that I was going to say for later, but we might as well talk about it now, which is that the subtext of this movie, like, it's kind of a corporate disaster movie. If you think about what's actually going on under the surface, so much of what goes wrong in Jurassic Park is because of the corporate interests involved, both at like InGen, who is, clearly cutting corners where they can to try and make this happen. Yeah. And obviously imperiling safety, combined with the corporate espionage of their competitors trying to steal the embryos. And it's like, if they had just given Jurassic Park the resources they needed to do this right, it could have been fine. Like, we know how to make a zoo.
If only they had paid Nedry a little bit more money, because it made it very clear that he was not getting paid enough money. Just giving him a slightly better salary, this whole movie could have been avoided. But what fun would that be?
Yeah.
You shouldn't use my name.
You know what they say?
Dodgson! Dodgson! We've got Dodgson here! See, nobody cares. Nice hat. You're trying to look like a secret agent?
$750. On delivery, 50,000 more for each viable embryo. That's 1.5 million if you get all 15 species off the island.
Oh, I'll get them all.
Remember, viable embryos. They're no use to us if they don't survive.
Oh, how am I supposed to transport them?
The bottom screw's open.
It's great. Oh, you guys.
It's cool to compartmentalize inside.
You guys, oh, that's great.
Customs can even check it if they want to.
Let me see.
Go on.
Oh.
There's enough coolant inside for 36 hours.
No menthol?
The embryos have to be back here in San Jose by then.
And that's up to your guy on the boat. 7 o'clock tomorrow night on the East Dock. Make sure he gets it right.
How are you planning to beat security?
Oh, I've got an 18-minute window. 18 minutes and your company catches up on 10 years of research.
Gracias, señor.
Don't get cheap on me, Dodson. That was Hammond's mistake.
No, I mean that, but it is a lot of the theme. Like some of the theme is like, yes, science has gone wrong, right? We get Malcolm's, spiel about you thought too much. What is it? You were worried too much if you could to stop to think about if you should, right? The Prometheus angle.
Yeah.
But that also very much applies to the corporate folks. Like that second scene, like this. So after the attack, the next scene is the lawyer going to talk to these guys mining for amber about how now the backers are worried and we need to get the approval of scientists to sign up on the park so that the whole enterprise doesn't come crashing down. Like that's where this movie starts. It's all like, the world's worst workers' compensation action.
I mean, I feel like just that it's kind of done out of order. You probably should have had like the scientists buy in from the beginning and helping along the whole time.
Well, I guess they don't trust the scientists who are working for Jurassic Park. They want an outside eye. But they're probably very, very concerned about secrecy for obvious reasons. So I'll buy into that structure.
So what I'm hearing is you think that this should be shown to corporations as a kind of a how-to or how not to.
Don't cheap out.
I think you could make a keynote speech about comparing the Jurassic Park foibles to like real corporate things. Yeah, sure. Let's get on board with that. I could do it.
Yeah, just stuff I noticed. I think as an adult, that stuff. As a kid, that stuff all just went straight over my head. I didn't notice.
Yeah, but you have an excellent point because I mean the phrase "spared no expense." John used that like at least 7 times, and one very poignant time when it's just him and Laura Dern eating ice cream. And it's very much like I never noticed it before, but yeah, they spared no expense on the stuff the guests see. But inside, Wayne Knight is like, I'm doing, the job of like 10 people and we're shortchanging him and his workstation's a mess. It's like, okay, so they spared lots of expenses actually.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah, you're right. It's all of the stuff that's for the guests for sure. Like they already have like stuff in the gift shop. Like haven't opened the park yet, right? This is a preview for a few scientists to come in and check it out. But they already look like they're mostly ready to go. Yeah, well, at least it looks like
the illusion analogy that's also made too, like the illusion that things are running smoothly in Len, but behind the scenes it's not. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And then we get a great introductory scene to Grant and Sadler. Neil, I'm blanking. Sam Neill, thank you, and Laura Dern.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this. It's one of the, I always am very, very highly analytical of character introduction scenes because if you don't nail that and really tell the audience what they need to know about the character, you're on a bad footing because if you're lucky, you'll catch up with doing that, but often you won't. But here it's expertly done.
I had such a crush on Sam Neill. Like, what kind of 13-year-old has a crush on like a 45-year-old man? But he was like just so like manly to me in this movie, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to ride down his back down that like rope and. Or maybe I just wanted like a more adventurous dad figure. Who knows?
You're a 13-year-old girl. It's okay to have a crush. Just at least it was this movie and not Event Horizon.
Oh
yeah.
I both had a crush on Laura Dern and the actress who played the kid because we were the same age when this came out.
Yeah.
Oh, Lex.
Ariana Richards.
Yeah.
Sure.
I did not have a crush on Laura Dern.
Who was only 23 when the movie was made, by the way, which is like fascinating to me. Because not only is she like fantastic in it, but she also kind of looks like a 40-year-old woman.
It's the hair.
A beautiful 40-year-old. Like, I think she looks fabulous in this movie, but I do not think she looks 23.
I had no idea she was only 23.
I won't say she looks fabulous. That's not her. That's the costuming. Because she's wearing the most unflattering stuff throughout this movie. It's like, what? How can we make her shorts bigger? She shines. I mean, her performance is great because she very much is kind of the link between Dr. Grant and humanity. He kind of cares more about dinosaur fossils than anything else, and she's there to kind of pull him along and go like, hey, you should be, watching after these kids and don't be so annoyed by them. Like the way he terrorizes the little kid at the dig site with his, with the claw. It's like he makes this kid scared of an animal that's been dead for 65 million years.
That doesn't look very scary. More like a 6-foot turkey.
Turkey, huh?
Oh, no.
Okay. Try to imagine yourself in the Cretaceous period. You get your first look at this 6-foot turkey as you enter a clearing. He moves like a bird, lightly bobbing his head. And you keep still because you think that maybe his visual acuity is based on movement, like T-Rex, and he'll lose you if you don't move. But no, not Velociraptor. You stare at him, and he just stares right back. And that's when the attack comes, not from the front, but from the side. From the other two raptors, you didn't even know were there. Because Velociraptor's a pack hunter, you see. He uses coordinated attack patterns, and he is out in force today. And he slashes at you with this 6-inch retractable claw, like a razor, on the middle toe. He doesn't bother to bite your jugular like a lion, say. No. He slashes at you here, or here. Or maybe across the belly, spilling your intestines. Point is, you are alive when they start to eat you. So, try to show a little respect.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of wonder about their relationship and, like, what do they connect and talk about? Because she is so, like, charming and sweet and, like, playful. And he's just kind of, like, science. Like, at least that's what we get of him.
That may be an artifact of the book, too, to some degree, because in the book, they're not a couple. Okay. It's just not a factor. So, Spielberg wisely trying to find ways to put more humanity into the story.
And more drama.
Yeah, and they work great together. Their chemistry is so good. And then we meet John Hammond, who the financier of Jurassic Park,
who just descends on the site, doesn't care about the dust flying everywhere.
Well, that's the perfect analogy, right? Yeah, like he's damaging the site of this dinosaur dig because he doesn't care about the consequences of what he's doing. He's just there to come and talk to them, and he's not thinking
to get what he wants.
Yep.
Yeah. Played by Richard Attenborough, who is what a great choice for that, because he's like the one thing he's known for outside of this. I mean, he's been an actor in other things, but he's the voice of all of these nature documentaries.
And he came out of retirement to do this part, like a 15-year retirement, I read, to play this part specifically.
They wanted Sean Connery at one point. I'm glad they went with it. I think having an actor as big as Sean Connery I don't think he could disappear into the role as well. Even though he's a wonderful actor, I'm sure he would give a very entertaining performance. Your brain would always be going, hey, look, it's Sean Connery.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't know he did nature documentaries, too, like his brother. That's cool.
I believe
I didn't really know much about him.
It's the same Attenborough, right?
No, there's two Attenboroughs.
Who's the other Attenborough?
There's Richard and David.
Oh,
David Attenborough does the nature documentaries.
Oh, gosh, I'm totally right. Maybe Richard Attenborough's done some voiceover stuff as well. I guess I'm mixing up my Attenboroughs. How gauche of me.
David Attenborough, he talks more like this, and here's what's happening with the dinosaurs. That's him. I love him. I think he's great.
Yeah, they're both great. And I love this performance because he's so naive and joyful. Like, he's not malicious. I think in the book he's a little more of a bastard, but here he's just like he just doesn't get it. He's so excited about making his dinosaur park that, again, he's not thinking about all of the consequences and the safety angles he needs to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to do like more of a prequel on how he made his money and how he got to make Jurassic Park.
There's a lot of exposition in the book that they do a good job of compressing. I don't remember if there's a lot of backstory on him, but definitely the how did they clone the dinosaurs? You can skip ahead to it, but that very efficient animated sequence where bingo, dino DNA. They do what takes tens and tens of pages in the books to just go they clone dinosaurs from mosquito blood.
Yeah.
I love, by the way, the funny thing about that is that it opens with that live shot of Hammond talking. He has to like talk to himself on the screen, but this seems to be for like the park. So it implies that like he would have to stand there for every single tour and do the same shtick over and over again.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so he's going to be there every time?
This must be just for this.
I assumed, my assumption was that particular video was for VIPs and that there's probably a video that he doesn't have to be involved in for that's I'm assuming here.
Yeah. We skipped over two important scenes, though. One is the Nedry scene at the like cantina.
Oh, with the shaving cream.
Dodson. Yeah.
Yeah. Wayne Knight is amazing.
He's great in this.
Great.
The way he squeals at the table when he squirts the shaving cream.
Oh, his little yeah.
He's like, yee! He's so excited that it works, that the embryo transport works as also shaving cream.
Yeah, it's really great, and what I love about it is like they play it up like this James Bond gadget, and then it ends up just falling into a stream. It's
like covered with like mud.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah, chaos theory, right? Who would have expected that?
Yes, well, that's a good point because the next thing we get is them on the helicopter. We meet Jeff Goldblum, Ian Malcolm.
And Doug was very excited for the Jeff Goldblum.
I was tumescent. I do like me some Jeff Goldblum. This is my second favorite Jeff Goldblum thing after The Fly.
I think you talked about Jeff Goldblum on our first date.
Did I?
Basically.
It's not surprising.
I just wanted to refresh your memory.
Yeah, I was going to say
Amy, did you have a crush on Jeff Goldblum too, or just Sam?
No, just Sam Neill.
That's
Jeff
fine.
Goldblum, he was like injured early on, really didn't have any heroic moments.
He's got that GIF-worthy shot of him with the shirt off.
Absolutely. That didn't do it for me.
Fair. That's fair.
That's all right. It's a very typical kind of quirky Goldblum performance, but like this is, if you don't want to sit through the gore fest of The Fly, this is the best Goldblum you're going to get in any other movie.
I love this Goldblum.
He's a good Goldblum.
I'm not sexually attracted to the Goldblum, but it's a great performance.
What do you think he's doing there? Because I understand that, yes, he's a mathematician who...
He's like a chaotician, I think he calls himself.
Right, he studies chaos theory, but they said they wanted the park to be signed off on by scientists. Like, I get the paleontologist, I get the paleobotanist. What do they want Ian Malcolm to say?
I think he's a scientist that Hammond knows. And because they spar a little bit, and like, I hate you, there's some sort of relationship there. So I wonder if it's kind of like he was able to persuade him to come.
Maybe, but it's Gennaro, the lawyer, who there's a thing in the helicopter where it's like, you brought the mathematician, I brought the experts on plants and animals.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if they may know each other. He said he does seem slightly antagonistic towards it, but that's probably because Ian Malcolm is correctly the wet blanket who's telling him this is a terrible idea.
So you two dig up dinosaurs?
Well,
Try to. You'll have to get used to Dr. Malcolm. He suffers from a deplorable excess of personality, especially for a mathematician.
Chaotician, actually. John doesn't subscribe to chaos, particularly when it has to say about his little science project.
Odswallop, Ian. You've never been able to sufficiently explain your concern.
Oh, John, because of the behavior of the system in phase space.
A load, if I may say so, of fashionable number crunching. That's right. I do wish you wouldn't do
Dr.
that.
Sadler, Dr. Grant, you've heard of chaos theory?
no.
No? Nonlinear equations? Strange attractors. Dr. Sadler, I refuse to believe that you aren't familiar with the concept of attraction.
I bring scientists, you bring a rock star.
I assumed he was like, I can't think of the right term. I used to know a guy who does this, but the people who predict how long you're going to live for insurance companies,
actuaries,
those people. There you go. Like their job is to predict like what are the losses, that kind of your risk. And if he's a chaos theory and he says it's making predictions in whatever something large numbers, irrational equations or something, they're probably going, what are the odds this park's going to work? Is my assumption.
Yeah, maybe, although his assessment is always, you can't predict everything, therefore everything's going to fail. Basically, it's always like, you can't open this movie theater, it might burst into flames. We don't know.
Yeah, it seems like the decision's already been made 100% before he even gets on that helicopter.
Yeah. And of course he turns out to be right, because the thing that brings the park down is not really the dinosaurs or even any active failures in the system. Is human sabotage. The cause of
greed.
Yeah, greed.
Greed causes chaos.
I think it's still like, you take out that, something else would have gone wrong in that park.
Probably.
Based on how, like, that raptor was, like, transported in the beginning. I just feel like they don't have their shit together.
Well, that's definitely what that scene is telling you, right? Is that, it's not like there's a playbook for how to deal with these animals that have been dead for so long that no one's seen them, Yeah. And then we get to, like, I think the scene of the movie, which is just the reveal of the brachiosaur, where they drive up and, the looks on their faces are incredible.
And he, like, turns her head with his hand and she's got that mouth open, and it's just like, she could have won an Oscar on, like, that reaction.
I mean, they're having the reaction that we're having in the theaters because, like, again, when you watch that brachiosaur, like, your brain, it just can't believe that it's seeing a brachiosaur.
Yeah. And then his line after that of, it's a dinosaur. Like, it's just so well delivered.
And then you see more, they move in herds, right? Like, they
do move in, like, they're moving in herds. They do move in herds. Like, that's later on, but it's amazement.
But you see all the dinosaurs that are down by that, like, pond and stuff, and it's serene and it's beautiful. And again, you get the serenity part of John Williams' score, and it's just like, this is the most majestic thing you have seen and ever will see.
Yeah.
And it's just so powerful. And again, like you said, so in contrast to the horror parts of the movie. But you need this. You need this, like, soaring part, because you have to believe that, like, of course, John Hammond would invest all of his resources into trying to make this thing, because, I mean, if you had the power to do it, almost how could you not, right? How could you deny the world dinosaurs? It's the most incredible scientific thing ever. So then we get to the compound, which I always thought the design of that compound was really cool. Like the visitor center, whatever you call it. I love the look of that place.
Yeah, the architecture in Jurassic Park is absolutely great.
I was just thinking, like, I wonder if there was, like, meant to be, like, a hotel there as well, or everybody that comes to the park flies in.
You would think you'd need accommodations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to helicopter everybody off the island, right?
Yeah. Like, how many people are meant to visit the park at a time? If it's only, like, a handful of people, it seems...
Well, the economic model is definitely, like... John Hammond says at one point, when he's talking to the people about, like, we want to make sure it's affordable for everybody. And it's like, you have to fly to Costa Rica to then take a helicopter to Isla Nublar, where it is. And it's like, do you know what it costs just to go to Disneyland? Like, this is not for everybody. This is for, like, tycoons.
Unless it's coupon day.
Coupon day. Yeah. So then we get to we meet Lex and Tim. Do
you want to talk about the tour or meeting the dinosaur?
We're about to. Yeah.
No, they do that, and then the kids arrive. Because they go to the tour and they
that's right. They're not on the tour. I forgot. Okay, so we get our dino DNA thing. And I love, like, the first thing they do is, like, let's break this thing and get off of this little version of the tour. Like, again, microcosm of what the movie is. Like, yeah. It's just they can go into the lab.
Yeah, where Hammond's like, I'm here for every birth. I want them to know me and love me. It's, like, so naive.
Yeah.
Like, every time I think about this guy, I'm like, this was Spielberg warning us about Elon Musk. Like, it was like, I'm the god. I want them to see me before they go.
Yeah, and of course, it's BD Wong. They're breeding raptors. And I love the look on Sam Neill's face of it, like, oh no, you bred raptors.
Yeah.
Not what velociraptors look like, by the way. Velociraptors were actually, if you want to get picky, they're like the size of chickens, but I think they thought the name was cool. These animals are what you actually see are more like something called, what was it? Not Gallimimus, but there's another dinosaur that they sort of borrowed from. But apparently just before the movie came out, there was the discovery of something called a Utah raptor, obviously in Utah, which is, again, a raptor that is roughly this size. So,
Didn't they have feathers too?
Well, yeah. Later on, it was discovered that a lot of dinosaurs probably had feathers. So
Can you imagine a T-Rex with feathers?
It would not look as fierce.
Yeah,
for sure. It would look weird. Although, first of all, I'm glad no one's decided to George Lucas it and like go back and fix the movie to make them
Jim Henson's Jurassic Park.
There you go.
Just put Big Bird in it. Yeah, have him chase people down. I'll also just buy that like this is a byproduct of the frog DNA they use, right? Like, they don't have feathers because they're not exactly dinosaurs they've been monkeyed with.
Sure, I'm not too worried about that.
No, but this is where we get that, right? We start to hear like all of the scientific not only how they clone dinosaurs, but the shortcuts they took, and then the quote unquote safeguards they put in of like they're all female and they're all lysine deficient. That they need this. They're missing an enzyme, and if without it they'll eventually die.
Yeah,
which is a fine safeguard for keeping them, in case they ever get off the island, they'll die. But I love that like in the middle of the crisis, they're like, should we use the lysine contingency? And we were talking about it when we watched it. It was like, oh, good. So sometime in the next couple of weeks, they'll drop off and die.
Yeah.
But life finds a way. We get that. Is this where we get the spiel from Malcolm about why this is?
This is where we get that at the dinner scene, but this is where he's asking like, how do you know that they won't breed? Oh, they're all female. You deny them that, and he starts to go into like life will find a way.
Well, thank you, Dr. Malcolm, but I think things are a little bit different than you and I had feared.
Yeah, I know they're a lot worse.
Now, wait a second. Now we haven't even seen the part where Amy Neal.
Donald, let him talk. There's no reason. No, I want to hear every viewpoint. I really do.
Yeah, don't you see the danger, John, inherent in what you're doing here? Genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun.
It's hardly appropriate to start hurling generalizations.
If I may, I'll tell you the problem with the scientific power that you're using here. It didn't require any discipline to attain it. You read what others had done, and you took the next step. You didn't earn the knowledge for yourselves, so you don't take any responsibility for it. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it. Well,
I don't think you're giving us our due credit. Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Condors. Condors are on the verge of extinction. If I was to create a flock of condors on this island, you wouldn't have anything to say.
No, hold on. This isn't some species that was obliterated by deforestation or the building of a dam. Dinosaurs had their shot, and nature selected them for extinction.
I simply don't understand this Luddite attitude, especially from a scientist. I mean, how can we stand in the light of discovery and not act?
Oh, what's so great about discovery? It's a violent, penetrative act that scars what it explores, what you call discovery. I call the rape of the natural world.
Yeah, I love that. And of course, everyone scoffs at him. Like how they're all. I mean, it does logically make a lot of sense, but for this very odd property of like sub-Saharan African frogs or whatever they.
Yeah, I'd like to look into that more. I'm like fascinated with that you can spontaneously change sex. Like, how does that work? I need more information.
Yeah, and that they happen to get this set of properties from the frogs into the dinosaurs, but it's great.
I buy it. It's fine.
It works thematically, so I'm not going to question it.
Yeah.
And so we go from this. Yeah, you're right. The tour ends. We meet Lex and Tim, who are there for, I guess, to visit Grandpa.
Because that's a good idea. Like, let's drop these kids that we love into like this. We don't know if it's a safe place for them to. It's poor parents. I don't know.
On the other hand, it's like, how do you deny your kids like the once in a lifetime chance? Like, Grandpa made actual dinosaurs. Like, how do you tell them not to go see them?
Yeah. Also, they do have that throwaway line earlier where they talk about how he couldn't meet the lawyer because his daughter was getting a divorce. So I assume the kids going there had something to do with the divorce.
Okay, good.
That's buried in there.
Yeah.
That was a good introduction to the kids because you got to see Grant interacting with them and just kind of their personalities. And they're introducing already that Lex has the computer knowledge.
It's an interactive CD-ROM.
Wow, an interactive CD-ROM. Oh man, I definitely had. We did an episode on Myst. Go check that out for some CD-ROM talk. But we'll have to revisit that sometime when we do another early '90s video game episode. But like that whole world of like, oh, you had to have a CD-ROM so you could run like Encarta and work on your papers.
Fun.
Yeah. How else would you look stuff up without Encarta?
Right.
And now we go on the tour. Did I cut you off?
No, that's right. We go on the tour, but before we even go on the tour, I love that they have this bit in the movie that Tim is like knows who Grant is. He's like his favorite paleontologist. He's read his book and is enamored with him. Yeah. That's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's cute. The kids are like very lovable. You have to make them lovable, but
and there's no like sibling rivalry really between them to weigh down the story. It's they're just decent kids.
Yeah,
on board.
They're real kids.
Yeah,
it's how I imagine Celeste and Ben.
Oh,
yeah, she's the older one. But not their personality thing, but just like they're not really fighting too much. And
okay,
nice.
All right, I'll buy that. And
what were you gonna say, Reg?
I was gonna say, going back to the Jaws comparison of how like Roy Scheider was, afraid of water, so he had to go fight a shark in the water, and like Sam Neill, we hear doesn't like kids, right? Mm-hmm. That's like our introduction. He doesn't like kids, and now he's got to spend the movie saving 2 children, and it's just like I love the tight storytelling like that.
Yeah, and I also like that in terms of tight storytelling, there's a lot of Chekhov stuff of like things that are introduced that will come back. Like in the spiel he gives at the dig site, all about how the way raptors hunt, and of course we're going to see them do that eventually, right? Like, so all of those clues are dropped. But we get underway on the lame tour because there's a lot of
show dinosaurs on this tour.
There's a bunch of no shows. Well, that's a big deal. Of like you've put so many there's so much vegetation in front of the fence. And the park is so big that, like, what are the odds that a dinosaur is going to happen to be near the fence enough for you to see it?
Yeah, right.
Should have been maybe a cable car thing. You go over and look down on them. I don't know. There's got to be a way. Like, the Wild Animal Park works.
I was going to say, that's like a bigger land with, like, a little tram.
Yeah, you have to scale it up, though, because the stuff in, a rhinoceros is, an eighth the size of one of these animals, usually. So, I don't know how they would do that. And it seems like I'm not sure if they try to keep all these animals separate or not. Like they have separate enclosures for each of them. They're mingling later in the movie. But that may be because the park has gone haywire.
Yeah, I assumed it's separate enclosures.
Like the zoo. Like this is this animal, this is that animal.
Yeah, because otherwise they would be
eating each other.
Yeah, they would. I don't think he would have walked around with a Brachiosaurus, whereas in the beginning, if he thought that there were also T-Rexes running around there.
Yeah,
right.
And so we get to our sick Triceratops, which I love this scene. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
She was my favorite when I was a kid. Now I see her. She's the most beautiful thing I ever saw.
It's okay. Microvesicles. It's interesting.
What are her symptoms?
Low imbalance, disorientation, labored breathing. It seems to happen about every 6 weeks or so.
6 weeks. These are dilated.
They
Take
are?
a look. It's okay.
I'll be damned.
It's pharmacological. From local plant life. Is this West Indian lilac?
Yes. We know they're toxic, but the animals don't eat them.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
There's only one way to be positive. I'd have to see the dinosaurs dropping.
Dino. Dropping?
So good detail, and like you can just like they're going ape shit over there, just falling in love with this thing, and I'm like, help this thing.
It's such a good way to like get the characters, like they wanted to separate what's her face, Laura Dern, and like to have separate. I'm sure they were thinking, okay, what's the best method for us to get these characters apart so they're going on different journeys?
Right. Yeah, I remember. I think in the book it's not a Triceratops; it's like a Stegosaurus. Like it's like this kind of like change that makes no sense. Other than I guess maybe they thought a Triceratops would be cuter than a Stegosaurus. Yeah. I don't know. And they never solved. They set it up like it's going to be a mystery. Like, hey, what's making this thing sick? We never find out.
I mean, even the other dinosaur like sneezes later, so maybe there's like a loop there from the book that's never like fully closed.
That makes it. Maybe there is a missing thread of a plot.
Yeah.
Of like, the dinosaurs are ill, but we don't know why. And of course we get the greatest poop in cinema history.
There is no way that is one poop. That animal is not that big.
I don't know.
It's one big pile of shit.
Big herbivore. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's probably very regular.
Yeah, well, just seeing how the body of the thing was, I'm like, I don't think it could get high enough to poop that.
Exactly. Well, no, maybe it shoots it out the back. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great gag, to watch her just like stick her hands in it.
Yeah.
Figure it out, but like
I know I did not think about that at the time. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, the cleanup
so much done.
The cleanup crew at Jurassic Park has a lot of work to do.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
So you're right. That separates Sadler from the group. She stays behind to work on the Triceratops. I love that, like the puppet on that. It's like there's so many like points of articulation on that puppet that just, it feels real. Like that the thing that the canker sore on its tongue or whatever she squeezes, like all that it feels so real.
She's like playing with the eye and it's like kind of flinching a little bit.
Right.
Like it's very good. It's very
the dry mouth on the corner of the lips too.
Yeah. And this is what you can't get with CGI. Even the best CGI, like there's a level of like the way things move that are, fit an actual 3D object. The way puppeteers, like their movements are not... A CGI character's movements would usually be way too smooth to feel real. Like you need puppeteers for this stuff.
Mm-hmm. I do like how like Grant like lies on the animal and is like enjoying riding like up and down on it
as it's breathing.
Yeah,
there's so many like you can like gifs on the internet of like they swap out the Triceratops for something else. So there's one where, the best one of course is the one where it's shirtless Ian Malcolm and breathing or something, and then Grant's going up and down.
I haven't seen any.
Like a tiny version of Grant is going up and down on that.
That's amazing.
There's lots of them.
You should make a reel out of those to publicize this
this episode.
This episode.
Yeah, and so we move past that. We're on our way back, and the storm is rolling in.
Yep.
And Nedry decides to deploy his brilliant plan.
Well, he only had 36 hours of the shaving cream, right? Is that why he had to do it this night?
There's something about that, yeah.
And he had to catch a boat, too.
Right. He's under some sort of time pressure to do it. Because I think the boat is like, because the storm's rolling in, it's probably, he has even less time than he expected because we're like, we got to get out of here before this turns into a hurricane.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember exactly the order of things happening. So
he sets off this thing that's going to essentially make it so you don't notice that he's going into the embryo room and taking them. Like he's mucking with it's his own software. And then he sets up a thing like where you can't access it. Like he makes it probably more disastrous than it needs to be because he doesn't care. He's just getting out of there.
Right.
But yeah, it's something where like eventually we'll find out they're going to have to basically reboot the entire park to make it go away.
Access main program. Access main security. Access main program grid.
You didn't say the magic word.
Please! God damn it! Hate this hacker crap.
Call Nedry's people in Cambridge.
And and we didn't talk about it before, but yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, before he was famous.
Fabulous. Always with a cigarette in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my God, he had some chunky dialogue he had to get through with computer terms and shit. Like, I mean, it was like, he's the best. So like, I don't know, but I just forgot how meaty some of those like words and just spitting them out with a cigarette in his mouth, sarcastic like he was over it. I was like, that's acting.
Yeah. Well, again, another actor who makes things look effortless no matter how complicated they are that he has to say.
The casting in this movie is just phenomenal to me.
And to think that, like, the next year he would explode with Pulp Fiction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's 94.
Mm.
So that's worth an episode, too. But,
oh, yeah.
So now we get the scene with the T-Rex. Right, they're back at the enclosure where the goat they had tried to feed it before to lure it out is gone. That's a great shot.
Nedry died. Like, did we talk about Nedry?
That's later.
Really?
Yeah, he's not dead yet. He's fleeing the scene right now.
Okay, so we get the kids in the car before
This is the whole
Nedry.
Yeah, this is the whole sequence with the T-Rex attacking them in the Jeep.
That's my favorite scene.
And the lawyer.
That's my favorite scene of all, like when the kids are in the car.
There's so much that happens in this scene.
It's like so many different things. Yeah.
Right, from they realize the fences are off to the you don't see the T-Rex at first, then like its eye just hoves into view.
And they're playing with the light in the car.
I mean, that is a great moment where she is like got the flashlight and it's like, turn it off.
Yeah.
It's after he's given the whole speech about how their vision is based on movement.
Yeah.
How he knows that, I don't know. But.
I don't understand. Like, so Grant gets the what's it called?
The flare?
The flare. And like gets the T-Rex away. And then why does Malcolm get out of the car and also do like he didn't?
It doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't work. And he puts himself in peril.
Well, I'm saying.
So I guess was he trying to help Grant?
He's trying to help because Grant's trying to get to the kids, and Grant's flare doesn't. The dinosaur isn't really.
No, I thought he went back and forth and threw it, and then the dinosaur started going, and then I think Malcolm fucked it up,
distracted it.
Yeah, and so he came back.
That's what it looked like to me. Is I was like, no, the T-Rex is going after that light. Get out of there. And then he's like, no, come at me. He's like, don't come at me.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Well, it's a great hero moment for Malcolm because in the book, he does not have that moment. He runs away from the T-Rex out of fear and gets injured, sort of the way Gennaro does, but obviously not fatally. Since Gennaro, the lawyer, takes it in the porta potty.
Hanging out in the bathroom.
But yeah, this was Jeff Goldblum's idea, actually, to say, we got to give him a more heroic way to get injured than just he's a weenie and he runs away. Like, because we've seen that he likes the kids. Like, we want to like Malcolm. So it's a great way to have that happen.
Yeah, him running away doesn't really fit his personality. He would be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the right call.
But I also don't see his personality as like jumping in when Grant was already saving the situation.
Yeah, maybe it's not the smartest thing he can do at that moment, and he is a very smart guy. On the other hand, it's like you're really in such a crazy situation. It's hard to judge people for not picking the best possible solution.
Yeah,
he's in a panic too, and that whole scene where like the T-Rex is boring down on the car, like it's like sinking into the mud upside down.
So
they're gonna you think they're gonna drown in there?
Yeah,
it's so
I get
great.
I got so emotional watching that scene just because I remembered like seeing it for the first time and how like in awe of it I was and how scared I was. I mean, I knew the kids weren't gonna die, but like you're just in it with them, and the acting is so good with those kids.
And of course, we didn't even talk about the classic, much parodied bit with the cup of water.
Oh yeah,
and the ripples and stuff before the T-Rex showed up. But this is like the most seamless blend, I think, of CG and puppetry in the movie. Like, cause I believe that T-Rex is real throughout this scene.
100%.
Yeah, it's incredible. From the minute like it shows up to when it's like chasing them as they're like driving backwards in the Jeep and it's in the rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff is just, I mean, I think it's probably, you're right, it's probably the best scene in the movie.
Yeah. And then, of course, the famous moment where the eye dilates when the flashlight's on it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, again, like great puppetry on all of that stuff.
And just attention to detail. Just like, of course, like if there's an eye shining right in a light, of course it's going to do that. But like, that's Spielberg going, I want to make because that to get the water to do that particular effect, they tried like a bunch of different things. And it wound up being a string from a base underneath the truck. Mm-hmm. It was like, just to make the water look different from, another thing.
Yeah, to make it a signature thing. Right, and it worked because again, that got parodied to death. Every movie had that. Like we got to have the water rippling in the cup, like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens next. So they go over the cliff, right? In the car, like Grant and the kids.
Yep.
How does Malcolm get back? Who rescues him?
He like gets thrown to the side, and then he like makes a moaning sound when Ellie and Hammond are not.
And Muldoon.
Muldoon is his name. I can't remember.
The shooter.
Peck. Yeah. When they're looking.
We quote that to each other all the time. I feel like that comes up a lot. Of just shooter.
There's a lot of lines from this movie that are so quotable. Like Clever Girl is my favorite.
Clever Girl. We'll get there.
Oh yeah, Bob Peck doesn't have many scenes, but like he's got they remember Clever Girl, and it's just like woo,
the delivery. Yeah.
Yeah, this big game hunter they have there.
Yeah. He's got like some meaty legs too in that opening scene. Not meaty, but like he's
got
strong.
thighs.
He's a strong dude.
Yeah, he's
well cast in that position. Like what's his position or his like role? He's like handler or something. He's got like an interesting role at the park.
Yeah, I guess he's like an animal
wrangler or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, you're right. That's how he gets it. They Ellie and Muldoon rescue him, and let's see, where do we go? Then we go back to Nedry, I think.
Well, can we talk about like the tree scene and how fabulous that is too?
Oh, where they're no, that's right. Where they're like falling down the tree, the cars coming down.
He left us, but that's not what I'm gonna do. It's so good, so good. That whole sequence is good from like the start of the T-Rex attacking them to the car getting from the tree.
And this is their first step with Grant towards like him, learning to be okay with children. Right, he's the only one who can rescue them, and he comes.
He's thrust into this situation, and
I would be remiss if I didn't point out the odd continuity here, though, in that so the first time they go to see the T-Rex pen, like everything's at ground level, and then somehow, but magically now there's a cliff wall, it drops off behind the fence, which would make no sense because it's like, well, if you want to see the T-Rex, like, don't you want to see the T-Rex, or you're only going to see like the top of its head as it like walks by the thing? So I don't know. But it still makes for an amazing action set piece, so I'll just go with it.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where you don't notice on the first viewing, and I think Spielberg's counting on that. Like, for example, when the car goes over and the boy is in it, like he's in a car that goes over and hits a tree, and he doesn't have a seatbelt on, and he's like, he should be either unconscious or like badly, but like when Sam Neill goes up in the car to get him, he's fine.
Oh no, Tim did not survive. He either dies here or he dies getting electrocuted with 10,000 volts, and the rest of the movie is just his dream as his life slowly sputters out after that moment. It's Jacob's ladder.
Yeah.
So all right. So we survived the fall from the tree. And then we're back at Nedry, making his way through the park in the rain, I think. And,
see, I thought Nedry this happened all before, but
I thought there was some cross-cutting, actually, within both these
There
scenes.
may be. I didn't take explicit notes to go scene by scene. I'm just kind of going, like, beat by beat here. But
I feel like both these scenes were juxtaposed upon each other, and even some stuff with John Hammond was, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They definitely cut back to him in the control room, trying to figure out what's going on with Samuel L. Jackson's character. I forget his name, and
Arnold.
Arnold. Thank you. You're right. That's his name. But no, we get to this great scene where he is, Nedry's death scene here, where he kind of crashes into some stuff. He's wanders into one of the enclosures and is confronted by, was it a diplodocus? They call it.
A cute little animal, though.
It's cute until its neck frill opens and it spits poison in your eyes.
Yeah. And then eats you in your car.
Well, yeah, that's nice. Gotta go. Oh, nice boy. Nice boy. Nice dinosaur. Oh, thought you were one of your big brothers. You're not so bad. You're not so bad. What do you want? What do you want? You want food? Look at me. I just fell down a hill. I'm soaking wet. I don't have any food. I have no food on me. I have nothing on me. Come on. Come on. Play pets? Play pets? Play pets? Look, stick. See a stick? See a stick? Yeah. Yeah, look, stick. Look, stick. Stick, stupid. That's a stick, boy. Look at this. Yes. You like your stick? You like it? And no wonder you're extinct.
This would be a good time to talk about the sound design.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sound design, like the animal noises they come up with for creatures, obviously, that no one's heard before, are like, you absolutely, not only do you believe it when you see them, but like when you hear the sounds they make, it's like, yes, of course that's the sound that creature makes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the T-Rex scream is powerful.
Do you know how they did some of that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them are, what they basically are combinations of existing animals. So like the T-Rex roar, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a bear, sound that they've combined with some other animal and then, manipulated it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the noises from some of the other ones, there's things like dolphin shrieks in there, like bird noises. And they're all just, again, they're manipulated. Sometimes they're even like played backwards to just make them sound unfamiliar. But yeah, it's just the most brilliant sound design to go with the setting.
Yeah.
And this one in particular, this is why I thought of it, is like the weird little like whoop, 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 whoop noise that this thing makes.
Yeah.
It's like, it seems so non-threatening until you get that like,
yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. So Nedry gets eaten kind of off screen, and we see the Barbasol can just float away it felt like sequel bait, but nope. Those things.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally was like, this is going to come back somehow.
Right. Someone's going to recover this thing and clone more dinosaurs. Although, why do you need those? You have like, even if they all died from the lysine contingency, the amount of DNA you could harvest from their corpses is like, yeah, we can make more dinosaurs out of this. We made it out of mosquito blood. We can certainly clone this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, that was just an example, I guess, or if that's the right word, of like, when he explains chaos theory earlier about how, something random here can affect this, and we're seeing this, canister that's worth millions of dollars just get buried in the mud, and I was just like, oh, this is chaos theory. I get it.
Well, so is his death, right? I mean, all of it is, different. In a movie that is actually very well plotted from a screenwriting point of view, a lot of this stuff, it's like coincidences pile on coincidences, but it's not and then storytelling. It's, because storytelling. Where what I mean by that is like a bad story is going to be like, this happens and then this happened and then this happened. A good story is going to be, this happened, and because that happened, this next thing happened, and because that happened, the next thing happens. Mm-hmm. And like, look at like, say, Breaking Bad, right? That's like a great example of something like that. And that's what's going on here. So like, even all these random things are coincidences. They're like, the way they pile on each other feels very satisfying.
Oh yeah. It feels like a really well done horror movie. It's like, of course there's going to be a tropical storm happen the same night that your tech guy does theft, that the same night that your grandkids are in town, the same night that your lawyer and scientists are trying to judge the future of your. Of course, all those things are going to happen on the same night.
Well, and it feeds right into the theme, which is again like you made your plan, and you didn't count on the fact that what happens if there's a hurricane the night I have to execute this plan, right? That is just driving home that theme really, really hard. So to keep things moving, so after this, do we have? I think we have them waking up.
The kids, they go to sleep in the tree,
and they wake up to the Brachiosaur, who sneezes on Lex.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not letting go.
It looks like it has a cold.
Yeah, maybe.
Can I touch it?
Sure. Just think of it as kind of a big cow.
I like cows. Come on, girl. Come on, up here, girl. Come on. Up here. God bless you!
And then we get again them walking through the forest, and they again emphasize the fact that she is a computer nerd. Like, now she's going to stay in her room playing on her computer all day. They have to like keep driving that home for the payoff later. I can't remember what's happening with Ellie.
Well, here's where they find the eggs.
Okay.
Right, as they're walking through the forest,
Yeah.
they find the eggs, proving that the dinosaurs are in fact breeding.
Yep.
Because dinosaurs are they're DTF.
before they wake up, I believe this was cross-cut with the scene with Ellie and John at the table eating ice cream, and he's like, but my next park, it'll be better. And she's like, John, stop it.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
Yeah. It's also one of those things there, though. I think that, they're acknowledging, like, it's a failure, right? This park is failing. Everything's going wrong. But the fact that money talks, and, like, look at the 5 sequels, right? The idea that, like, but there's living fucking dinosaurs. How do you just let them all die and then go, oh, well, we're never going to try again. We're never, it's like you can't. Like, once you've established the scientific technology, it's like, yeah, we will build a better zoo. We can do it.
But this place, I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch. The name not devoid of merit.
But you can't think through this one, John. You have to feel it.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Hiring Nedry was a mistake. That's obvious. We're over-dependent on automation. I can see that now. Now, the next time, everything's correctable.
John.
Creation is an act of sheer will. Next time, it'll be flawless.
It's still the flea circus. It's all an illusion.
When we have control again.
You never had control. That's the illusion. I was overwhelmed by the power of this place. But I made a mistake, too. I didn't have enough respect for that power, and it's out now. The only thing that matters now are the people we love. Alan and Lex and Tim. John, they're out there where people are dying.
Yeah.
So, as much as he wants to say, she can say, oh, there's not going to be an X Park because we all got eaten. It's like, I don't know, man. The once you've seen those dinosaurs, like, how do you not see the potential in that and try?
And if not them, someone else will be taking that technology and doing it.
Which is literally the plot of Jurassic Park 4. Jurassic
is
World.
it?
Yeah, they build a new park on the island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I love that scene where they're eating ice cream, because this is where we get his background, is like he had a flea circus that was with no real fleas, right? It's all just, it's bullshit. It's smoke and mirrors.
It's an illusion.
And that's sort of what this is. I mean, the dinosaurs are real, but the park is sort of, it's like the illusion is that you can control them.
Right.
Yeah.
And isn't she's the one who gives the speech about, like, you lost, you didn't have respect for the power that you were wielding.
Yep. Yeah. Which echoes what they said in the earlier dinner scene with all of them around there too. And then the scene ends with her saying, "Good ice cream, though," and he says his line, "Spared no expense."
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's ice cream. How expensive could it possibly be? But it's cute that they have to eat it all because it's all melting because all the power's out. So it's like, what else are we gonna do? We're gonna sit around and eat ice cream.
Yeah, it should have been melted by then. It's the evening. It's not the morning.
It's still
that
like
same night
off the coast of Costa Rica. It's not. It ain't cold. So then we get that great scene in the morning where the Grant and the kids like encounter the herd of Gallimimuses.
Oh right, they're running in the field.
I love that. That's another one where like this. It's like, man, the CGI holds up so well, and all these dinosaurs like running past them. Like it just feels real. And then T-Rex shows up again, which is great. Like I love that. Like it's still a presence in the movie because we're going to see him again later. And like I think if you didn't have this scene in the middle of like, oh, there's the T-Rex again, like it wouldn't feel quite as satisfying when he shows up to save the day at the end. It makes him more of a character.
It's so great foreshadowing because like you're seeing these dinosaurs not expecting the T-Rex at all. Oh, eat one, right? And that's literally what happens at the end scene. And you're like, damn it, Spielberg, you're so good.
And you're also seeing that again that now they're interacting in a way they might in real life. Although I have no idea. Some of these dinosaurs, it's like. It might be called Jurassic Park, but some of them lived in the Cretaceous. Like there's, these dinosaurs could actually be separated by 100 million years, and they're now interacting. Yeah. So it's another way in which it's like, no one's giving a shit about the ecological ramifications of like just putting these species back on the planet. Okay, so after we have that and they escape, do we go to the fence or no? Or we get to something? Oh, we get to Ellie.
We're not at the
Arnold.
fence until she's resetting the park.
Right. So the plan is they need to go out. They need to get to this like bunker where all this electrical equipment is. And
Yeah,
Arnold
they realize
says,
they can't save the computers. They have to reset them.
right. And Arnold's going to go first.
Yep.
So Samuel L. Jackson walks off, never to be seen again.
Which is another design flaw with this corporation. Like, they should have known, like, if something went wrong, there was a chance that the dinosaurs could be out. Like, you have to have that visitor center next to that, like, power trip. Like, it's just poorly designed.
Like, why do they have to go across this open
there shouldn't
ground
have to
get
go
to
all. There should be an underground tunnel or something else.
Should
When
be a
we
j-
open the Jurassic Park, I'd like to be involved in the process. Is all I'm saying.
Again, poorly planned. Jurassic Park. That's the big part of it. And so, yeah, she and Muldoon go over. And this is where we get...
Clever girl.
Clever girl.
Yeah.
It's so well done. Because, like, she is just hauling ass to get to the thing. And he says something like, you know, he's got this raptor in his sights. And she runs off. And it's like, wouldn't you want to stay with her? Like, you've got a gun. And she doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And doesn't he know, like, because this is a callback to the earlier scene on the dig site, right? Where
This
like,
is where,
the two on the side are or there's one on the side that's hunting. Like, I feel like he should also know that information if he's a dinosaur handler.
But we don't get the impression he's a paleontologist. He's like the kind of guy who like goes and hunts tigers and lions for sport.
He's like Crocodile Dundee.
Yes.
I don't even remember what Crocodile Dundee did.
No, not Dundee. I'm thinking of the crocodile guy.
The crocodile
Irwin.
hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not killing anybody. He wasn't there to shoot the animals.
No, I don't think that Bob Peck was either.
No, he talks about like he's a game hunter. Like that's
Is that what he is?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like one of those British trophy hunter stereotypes, you know, it's like, and then I, killed a bear in wherever or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that like Don Jr. and Eric, like when you see them like taking a picture next to a dead endangered animal
so he
smiling.
helped them hunt it.
Yeah, that's what that's what Muldoon did before he got the job at Jurassic Park.
Okay.
So he understands animals and predators generally, but I highly doubt he has.
He doesn't understand their like hunting styles.
Their specific stuff.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
And so so the raptors get the drop on him, and he says "clever girl," and then the way that thing pounces on his face, like it's not just that he dies, like it's like they let you know, like it's not a good death to get eaten by a raptor. Mm-hmm. It's rough. And I love the scene where Ellie is, she's in the bunker and she sees the raptor, she's scared, she goes back and like the arm comes on her shoulder. Oh, thank God. Yeah. And it's like just an arm.
Yeah. Like as if it could just be like randomly hanging, like an arm is just like somehow like just at like shoulder level for her.
I mean, that is
against it.
That felt like Indiana Jones, Spielberg, like that's the kind of like shit.
Oh, yeah.
That reminds me of the shit where like he in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Alfred Molina dies at the beginning and like Indy comes up behind him and like he's got like spikes through the face.
Yeah,
surprise,
totally.
Yeah, it's that move. It's almost like a Sam Raimi horror thing. But do you know why they did? They had Arnold die that way.
No.
Mm-mm.
So he was supposed to have an actual death scene, and the entire set where they were going to shoot it got ruined by an actual hurricane on Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, well, we can't shoot your death scene, so we're going to have to come up with something else.
Oh, okay.
And I like what they came up with. It's much better because they talk about like, gee, Arnold said he could be back in 3 minutes, and it's been, too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
Before we get too far ahead, though, I do like the scene where Ellie's like, we can talk about sexism in survival situations when I get back. That was just a fun line.
Yeah,
like when they're debating like who's going to go like reset the power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's basically the only female. I guess Lex is there, but she's really the only adult female in the movie, so she's there to kind of represent for the ladies. But she's tough. Like
she would be way more successful than Hammond would have been.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who walks
echoes her.
Yeah.
Yeah. This echoes her line from earlier when they're like, he's like, God creates dinosaurs, God destroys dinosaurs, God creates man. And then she goes, and women rule it all.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
Oh, that line got a huge reaction in the theater, I remember.
Yeah.
When I saw it.
Yeah.
And so she goes to turn on the power at the exact moment they are climbing over the electric fence, electrocuting Tim, but of course he's fine, luckily.
He's fine.
But it is 10,000 volts, though. Isn't that like electric chair levels of intensity? So,
that's a good question.
Lucky kid.
Would you like fly off backwards like that, or would he be like
Yeah,
stuck on it?
That's what happened.
Yeah.
People get they won't be. What happens is like the electricity f's up your nervous system, and your brain can't send the electrical impulse to like let go.
Yeah. So if you ever have to test like a power line, always use the back of your hand. So if it closes, you're safe.
Good to know.
This is nothing but an educational podcast.
That's right. All the paleontology.
According to this, an electric chair has a cycle of 2,300 volts.
Okay, so there you go. 5 times the power of an electric chair.
Well, Sam Neill and CPR.
Yeah, Tim's a tough kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
I mean, he just survived a car falling into a tree, for God's sake.
A lot of shit happens to that kid.
Yeah. No, they're both totally scarred for life. There's no way they have normal adulthood.
They need therapy, for sure. They're traumatized.
Yeah, she got sneezed on.
Yeah. That's... and then they make their way back at this point, right?
Well, and Grant and Ellie, I think that they kind of meet up at this point, right?
Well, she's on her way back, right? She sees him, and she says, like, run, because raptors are behind her now.
Yeah.
Like, she has that encounter in the bunker with the raptors. That's great.
Where she's got, like, a flashlight stuck to her leg, and she's, like, limping through the visitor. Like,
yeah, it's like the cord from it is, like, wrapped around her. She's just, I can't stop. I got to keep going.
Yeah.
And I love that he's like, I'm going to give her a hug. It's like, you just heard her yell run, and she has this look on her face like, you run.
So then they run inside the visitor center, and then the kids are left to gorge on pie and cake, and then they're going to look at computers or something. Like, what are they? What are they going?
I forget where they. Yeah, what are they going off to do? Do you remember, Rich?
I can't remember.
Okay,
I do not.
They're to get out of the way so the kids can have the scariest scene in the movie,
which is a great scene. I love it when
so good.
Kids have to solve their own shit. Like, they have to get out of situations on their own. I feel like Lex really takes care of her brother in this situation, sort of.
Yeah, this whole scene where the jiggling Jello as she like sees it, like it's kind of the mirror image of the wonder of seeing the Brachiosaur. Again, we just see the reaction at first, and now we're seeing her reaction to seeing the raptors entering this room.
Yeah,
it's so good, and I love that shot of like there's a painting of a raptor on the wall, and we see the shadow just kind of come over it of the real one. Oh God, it's so evocative. And then they haul ass into the kitchen, and we get this. First, they open the doors. We find out, oh, thank God they can't open the doors. Oh wait, they can, because they're very smart. And then we get this like the scariest game of Pac-Man essentially that's ever been.
Yes. Well played. Yes.
You want to talk about this scene, Abe?
I don't know. It's just a fun scene.
It's a cat and mouse game between the kids and
so clever with the reflection and
that got me the first time.
Is this the first time that we hear the raptors do like the echolocation? Did we hear that?
Is that what they're doing? It sounds like they're kind of making vocalizations to communicate with each other, kind of the way dolphins do.
Okay, I assumed they were like trying to echolocate things or something.
Yeah, I wasn't sure they were doing that. I just figured they were like just kind of like just making again like wolf pack kind of
just
like,
chatting.
They're chatting, and God, that like the way they're coming around.
Never seen this room before. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, and also it's just like she starts banging this like ladle to try and get them away, scare them or attract them away from Tim. But it's like you could have just thrown it across the room. They would. Have you not played a stealth game before? You make the noise somewhere else and send them that way.
Listen, the next time that you are in fight or flight mode and 2 raptors are in a room with you, listen to your higher instincts.
So, do you think she wasn't like she was really trying to get inside that little thing? It just happened to work out that it banged into the reflection.
The raptor saw the reflection happening and went for it. And they barely escape.
Yep.
And they make it into the room where the computer
main computer room where she saves the day with the computers.
Right. She's the one who has to get the door lock system to reactivate.
Yeah.
In order, so while Grant and Ellie are like physically like barricading the door against the raptors.
Yeah. So she resets it.
It's a Unix system. I know this. It's all the files of the whole park. It tells you everything. I gotta find the right file.
Trying to reach the gun.
We got it.
And then they call Hammond and what's his face in the other room.
Right, the phone's finally
where Jeff
active.
Goldblum's still lying prone.
Yeah. Is being sexy Jeff Goldblum. And yeah, so now they can call for summon a helicopter.
They call that helicopter and it's there within 3 minutes, I swear to God.
Yeah, because we got one more scene to go, basically. Like they make their way into the main area of the visitor center, and the Raptors are still harrying them, and then we get the big payoff.
Yep. And then the sign falls down with the dinosaurs. What does it say?
When dinosaurs ruled the earth. Yeah, I loved that shot. To me, that's the money shot of the movie, right? Of just like that, this T-Rex just screaming in front of the bones of the fossil of a dead T-Rex as this banner comes down. It's like, yeah, we won. We took this park back. It's like that one shot is like that's every theme in the movie, right?
Yeah.
We're back, a dinosaur story, and then it's like a straight shot to the end. Like I think Hammond hops in the car and Grant tells him, "I'm not endorsing your park," and he says, "I agree." He finally lets it go, and they hop in the helicopter and they're off.
Yeah, and then the kids are lying on Grant's shoulder, which is so cute.
Right.
Yeah,
and we get the shot of the birds. Again, kind of like, well, we don't. Maybe they're still with us in a kinder, gentler form. They're pelicans now. Yeah. It's okay. And we fly off to that John Williams score. I will say there was one more, like, this thing comes up in, like, BuzzFeed lists about the movie with the helicopter. Not at the end, but at the beginning. If you remember, like, Grant is having trouble putting his seatbelt on because he's got two female ends of a seatbelt. And then life finds a way because he just ties them together. Like, it's, again, like these little touches in the movie are so good.
I thought that was like, he's a resourceful guy. That's how I read it. I didn't think about the two females. That's smart.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of it either, except I saw it on some, like, listicle of things you didn't notice in Jurassic Park. And that's the movie. And then we come back later for Jeff Goldblum and his adopted gymnast daughter.
What?
You remember that from The Lost World?
No.
It's best you forget.
This.
It was very dumb. All right, so we're here at the end. Rich, why do you think it is that we still are talking about this movie? I mean, yes, it was a colossal hit and everything else, but what do you think it is about this movie that makes it endure?
I think it was just, a perfect storm of a movie. You had, a director possibly at the absolute height of his abilities with everything, the right team of everything, puppeteers, CGI, great cast, based on a book, and I think well adapted from it, not perfectly, but just tells a really tight story. And honestly, of all the things, the music might be the stickiest part of it for me in pop culture. Like, if I cannot separate that movie from the music.
Okay. And what do you think it is that we're still in love with Jurassic Park all these years later? They pushed 5 sequels down our throat, so there's a reason.
Everybody loves a good action movie, and then you throw in a really good script and really good actors, and it's just a good winning combo.
I think, you've got all those ingredients, right? You've got the big director, you've got a great story, and I think people just at a basic level, love dinosaurs. I watch my son play with dinosaur toys. I watch, other kids his age, like they're all into dinosaurs. They have dinosaur pajamas. You had dinosaur stuff. I had dinosaur stuff. Yeah. There's something just so evocative about these animals, and the fact that, that it's been 65 million years since they've been seen. Right, there's still legends of the Loch Ness Monster. We want to believe that there's some way we could get to see one of these things for real and not just a skeleton in a museum. And the movie gives you that. Like it feels like it feels like an amusement park experience to watch the movie. To go, you literally kind of go on a ride with them.
Yeah,
and God, the mind-blowing special effects combined with kind of the Spielberg heart of the story, and those kind of pulse-pounding, really scary moments. I just think of this is that the feeling of dinosaurs coming back to life, that the majesty of all that is so attractive, and it's really yes, there's the sequels, but really you can really only get that feeling in this one. Every other movie's just been people kind of running around and dinosaurs being there. This has a lot more. And that's why I think this one is the one that people will always come back to if they feel like watching a Jurassic Park thing. That and the Weird Al song.
MacArthur Park
Yep.
is way inferior of a song to Jurassic Park.
Absolutely. All right. So we've come to the end here. So, Rich, do you got something to plug? Tell the people where they can find you.
Thank you. At Rich Baker Coaching, Instagram and Facebook, or richbakercoaching.com if you're interested at all in improv classes or workshops.
And Amy, tell them where they can find your handiwork.
I sell earrings and other interesting jewelry at Momo Bunnies More Co. on Instagram and TikTok.
All right. And if you like this show, please drop us a review. Go on iTunes or Podcast Addict or wherever you found it. And if you haven't left a review yet, you're stealing from me. No, we'd love to hear from you, though. We'll read them on the air, of course. And if you have feedback, you can tweet it to @NostalgianPod, or you can find us on Instagram. Just look for Nostalgia Mark Cannon there. And please do follow us on Instagram, because I've been posting bonus reels. For each episode, there's a little 3-minute extra content there for you. And so if you got thoughts on our recent episodes, which our last few were Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Coming up, we've got Rocky 4 in the mix. We're going to do one on our top 10 Disney songs, so that'll be a fun other musical top 10 episode. And since we're recording this out of order, I don't exactly know what else might be coming next. So, but we hope you enjoyed this look back at Jurassic Park for its 30th anniversary. Rich, thanks again for coming by, man. We always love having you on the show.
Always love being here.
And Amy, I love spending time with you. I live with you.
Thanks for having me.
You're always
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome on the
To
show.
live here.
Yeah. All right. So that'll do it for us. I hope you all held on to your butts this whole time. So until next time, that is one more entry in the Nostalgia Arcana.
In the dark, all the dinosaurs are running wild. What a crummy weekend this has been. Well, this sure ain't no e-ticket. Think I'll tell them where to stick it, 'cause I'm never coming back this way again. Oh, no.
You can't hold a raptor in a closet. They're too smart. You may have us, but you'll never get off the island.
I beg to differ, for you see, the other raptors and I have constructed a crude suspension bridge to Venezuela. Once there, I shall lie low and assume odd jobs under the name Mr. Pilkington, but perhaps I've said too much.